Hi, friends, and welcome to my podcast. This is a channel where I share my insights. And today, I'm talking about the ulterior motive. The word ulterior means intentionally hidden. And in order for us to understand the ulterior motive, we have to understand its second cousin, the intrinsic motivation. And these two feelings lead to your desires, but they have a very different quality to them, which I want to talk to you about. So I hope you'll stick around as we dive into the ulterior motive and conversely, intrinsic motivation. Everything you do is brought on by an urge. Everything. The universe is pulsing. And there are various levels of that pulsing, which lead to impulse and compulsion. And as you begin to settle into your truth, those pulses become a little bit more honest. They become more innocent. And they become more real. Most of us live a good portion of our life in the ulterior motive, that we are motivated by what people will think and say. This is how a lot of people live their life. That's the gatekeeper. What will someone think of me? And that's how I validate my desires, is through the reactivity of others. I live my life by seeing what the feedback that comes from out there. And that's what I chase. I chase feedback. And that goes so far. That's lovely. We do that to please our teachers, to please our parents, to please our spouses, and many of us do that to please a God in the sky. But the ulterior motive is always this sensation that I am being watched. I am being judged. I am being looked at through the eyes of scrutiny. And it is living your life for what it looks like. You know, if you've ever been caught in some kind of awkward situation, you have to say, oh, I know what this looks like. Let me explain. It's judging a situation from the exterior. You see? I don't know where I picked up this word. It's from a book, and I should look it up on my Kindle, but there is a word that this author uses called the aspirationally rich. These are the people that they go for the look of rich. And what looks rich is an appearance. It's laughingstock exemplified in a British sitcom called Keeping Up Appearances. That's what the ulterior motive is. Keeping up the appearance of something. And that's very, very difficult to sustain. Because it's a lot like keeping a lie going, right? you tell a little lie, you have to make sure you follow up with every single person that you may have told or who might tell somebody else. A lie is hard to keep up with, and that's the ulterior motive. And it is a place of boastfulness that you want something so because of the way it looks. I want this because that's what society expects of me. I want this because that's what God expects of me, you see. This God in the sky kind of thing. That's the ulterior motive. It's an intentional hiding from your truth. Your real desires, the ones that may be a little shameful to you. But your real desires are not necessarily ones that you need to show anybody about. You see? So the intrinsic motivation is so much more transparent. It's so much more real. It's so much more you. Not what it looks like, but what it is. So, let's get into our intrinsic motivations, the deeper desires. The deeper desires are those things that you want and you have really no concern to boast about it. You might call it your secret desires. The ones that you have just because you want to experience them. And it doesn't matter if anybody else sees it. That's an intrinsic desire. An ulterior motive would be to go to Venice so you can tell everybody you went to Venice. An intrinsic motivation could be to go to Venice because you just dreamed of it all your life. You just want to go there. Oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful. And it wouldn't matter if you brought your phone. You just intrinsically want to experience Venetian culture. But how many of us really have a desire just because we want to experience it? Most of us nowadays have a desire to post. And post means boast. And boast means boost. And so all these ulterior motives seem to add to who you are, rather than just experiencing it because you deeply, secretively, honestly, and childlikely want to experience them. I've got secret desires. I give myself those secret desires all the time, but I don't post about it. I don't boast about it. So this is how we give ourselves what we truly want. And it's done in private. So let me I'll give you some more sort of generalized examples. When you were a kid, there were things you wanted. You wanted a Barbie dream house, or I did. Or an easy bake oven, I did. Just intrinsically, you just wanted, and tap shoes. I just wanted those things. Why? Because I wanted to play. I wanted to play with them. I wanted to play with that. I wanted to play with the things I wanted. That's all. It's too simple. What I'm saying is an intrinsic motivation is you want something simply because you want to experience it, play with it privately. You want to have an intimate experience with it all on your own. My intrinsic motivation as a young person was the pipe organ. I've explained this. I was a musician. If you've been watching my channel, I would lock myself into the church by myself and give myself the luxury of learning that instrument. I've told people this before, but I have performed some of the best music for myself. And that's what an intrinsic motivation is. Giving to yourself. And it doesn't matter who sees it or knows about it or whatever. And so I'm intrinsically motivated by my YouTube channel. As much as I adore the attention that it might give from the outward in, my intrinsic motivation is the setting I have here. If you can imagine, I am in my house and I am staring at a laptop. I am basically talking to myself. And I'm enjoying this private moment. Nobody is watching. It's just me and me. I'm not talking to you per se. I'm talking, my laptop is blank and there's a green light on it. And in this moment, I am feeling full, enriched, joyful, and complete. Why do I share it? Because that is also part of the intrinsic motivation. Uploading it and putting it out there is also part of this process of nakedness, transparency, honesty, innocence. And there will be a part of you that wants to be seen, not looked at, you see? Not the idea of people looking at you. Look at me, look at me, look at me. But the idea of wanting to be seen in your truth. The ulterior motive is as if there are cameras on you. The intrinsic motivation is a desire to be seen as you are. And that's what nature is. It desires for us to see it in its naked form. The ulterior motive is very much like the story of the emperor with no clothes. The emperor thinks he has clothes on, but everybody can see his private parts. Nature does not really hide in the ulterior motive. It's an intentional way of creating an illusion of self and other. You see? And you got to get into this a little bit. And when you realize that other is you looking at yourself, you don't have these hang-ups anymore. See, I'm really convinced that the people in my life are either future or past versions of who I am. I'm surrounded by what I'm capable of and by what I used to be, reflected back to me in a simultaneous present moment. So I'm not judging. I'm not looking up to the people I aspire to. They are just showing me what I can be. And some people are showing me what I used to be. And I judge them not, because I realize I'm seeing my future and past iterations of myself in the multiplicity. This is why, as you examine your intrinsic motivation, you realize that everything you want is simply for love of engaging with it. I want an airplane. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I want an airplane. I used to have one before social media was a big deal. I never posted anything. I just enjoyed my airplane. I would fly by myself. I loved aviation. You see? And when I say, I want an airplane, I have an airplane, I used to own an airplane, that can seem boastful, but I want to show you that that is an intrinsic love. When I'm with my plane, in my little plane, flying around, it's exhilarating, it's fun. The same way as riding my bike or being in my home or any of the other things I want. I do that because I want to play. Right now, I am playing with words. I like getting on YouTube and talking. That's it. So the love is hopefully being demonstrated. You see. And if it comes back in a critical way, that's all right. That was my former self. Any critics, just your former self, the judgy part of you that used to be that, that's fine. What we have to understand about our lives, and what I'm understanding about my life, is that my current situation was carved out of a previous understanding of myself. So at this moment, where you are in consciousness and in your understanding of life is the best that you can do. And your situation was made by a previous iteration of yourself. So if you want to improve your life or your condition, you have to understand that your condition was made by a former understanding. And you're doing your best. So you cannot improve your condition by hating it. You cannot improve who you are by looking back and hating that either. That's called regret. You must love. The only way to ever experience the power of growth is through something called compassion. So there's no experience where when you die, you're going to get to the pearly gates and you're going to go through a life review. It's too late. You want to take inventory now, right? You want to confess, all right, I objectified people. I lied. I had these addictive behaviors. I did this. I did that. All of these transgressions were done in ignorance, in the ulterior motive. I thought I had to do something to please others. No. I have to do stuff that I enjoy for me. I have to give myself what I want. I have to do what I love in front of other people. I get that. Makes you wonder why the Buddha came out of the cave. Why did the Buddha come out of the cave if he was sitting in heavenly bliss? Why did he start talking? Why did Ramana Maharshi start talking after being silent for years? If these people were so blissed out by being quiet, why are they speaking again? You have to wonder what the intrinsic motivation is. There will also be there is always an ulterior motive when you're in a body. The personality, the differences will come through, of course. But you would hope by this point the intrinsic nature will shine through. And the only way to make that happen is to unleash what you love. And what you love is calling you. And it's okay to have it. It's okay to have a desire, because the desire is not a need to show anybody anything or to prove anything. Desire is pure luxury. That's it. You just want to play with it. Why would you want a mate? To complete you? No. You want a mate to express playfulness and love. That's all. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. A child wants something to play with. And when your intrinsic motivation really solidifies like that, Everything will become playful. You will have compassion for your former self. You'll go through your life review realizing, okay, this current state, that this current condition I'm in was created by a previous understanding of who I am. I'm compassionate with my past self. And I'm excited about my future self. All in the name of love. Love is evolving and unfolding. And the more you get into the love of what you do, and that everything leads with love and peace, more of that transpires in your life. More of the intrinsic comes out in what appears as the outer world. And it's never an ulterior kind of thing. I'm not trying to show you I have something that you don't. We're all going through this. And the more you lean into the motivation of love, the more love comes back to you. And if if the feedback is critical or judgy, you still love that. Somehow you brought it upon yourself. It's fine. You understand that. And this is really the heart of the matter. You made your bed, sleep in it. My situation, I created this based on my level of consciousness and awareness of who I am. And the more you get into the intrinsic nature, the more you just want to play with it. Play with the forms. The desire is playful and innocent. Why do you want $1 billion? I'm just giving you that as an example. What are you going to do? Swim in it? Rub it all over your body? Okay, then fine. Then you want $1 billion to put all the money, all that dirty money, put it all over you. Just get away from that ulterior motive, what it looks like. If you want to live in a house like Oprah Winfrey has, you can. But think about why you want to. Do you want to keep up appearances? I don't know if Oprah Winfrey shows off the fact that she has a Bentley and a Gulfstream. And I mean, she everybody kind of knows that she does, but you don't see her putting that in your face. Let me tell you something. I looked up Eckhart Tolle's net worth. That man's loaded. And he wears modest clothing. He never talks about his wealth in that way. Likely he's given it all away. That's what I think. He probably has just given it all. He never talks about that either. What I'm getting at is just sort of your intrinsic wants. If you want a Gulfstream, a $30 million jet, you will have already put posters of it on your wall. You would have picked out the interior, and you were already picked out your co-pilot. You know, John Travolta has a 747. I think he really likes that. And he flies it himself, you see. And Harrison Ford has a helicopter. He loves that. He didn't go around saying, my helicopter, this and this and this. I don't think he has an ulterior motive there. That man's flying the helicopter and enjoying being with the toys that he wants. You see. So you gotta get into kind of like why you want something. And it's kind of just a childlike thing. If it's childlike, it's fun. And if it's fun, when you think about it, you won't give yourself something different, you see. Jesus, in a recent passage that came up in the lectionary, the reading was about Jesus saying, when a child asks for a fish, do you give him a snake? If a child asks for an egg, do you give them a scorpion? And that's what we do. We get these desires and we think we can't have them. We think we don't deserve them. But that's because the ulterior motive is in the way. We're confused about intrinsically why we want it. If it's playful, light, childlike, and innocent, you'll get excited about it's coming. This means it's real, right? If you're concerned about well, when I get this, it'll make me look good. It's going to make me look amazing, and people are going to want to be around me. That's ulterior motive, and so your desires will stay hidden from you. You see? Ulterior is a hidden, intentionally hiding. That's not really what you want anyway. You don't want to look rich. You don't want to look anything. You want to be yourself. And when you get naturally into the innocent, childlike state, the things you want will simply be fun, playful, innocent. That's the key. The intrinsic motivation is childlike. And getting in touch with that love unleashes the only true power in the universe. And it's got a playful quality. The ulterior motive feels like it's going to add something to you. Boost. Think boost, post, and boast. Think selfies. Think, look at me. Get into the desires where you don't care what people really see, but that you wanted to engage with those things purely because you love to play. My name is Ryan Hebert. I hope these insights are helpful to you, and I would encourage you to check out my blog. It's called mymorningmotivator.com.